Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in today's episode, I want to talk with you about why you should attend a Perform Better Summit. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Fitness Business School podcast, the show for fitness business owners who want to grow their income, increase their impact, and improve their lifestyle. Be sure to listen till the end of this episode because we have a brand new special offer exclusive for listeners. So stay tuned. I know with that intro, it kind of sounds like a commercial for Perform Better, and I think it probably is, but the reason that I wanted to touch on this is I just got back from the Perform Better Summit in Orlando, and I've noticed over the years that we that host live events tend to have to work harder to get people to live events, and I think some of it really kind of came about during the pandemic and people getting so comfortable just consuming their education or information on their computer, staying at home, watching videos, listening to podcasts. And I think there's some validity to it because there is so much good information available now. In fact, information is definitely not the limiting factor for people. The amount of good quality stuff that you can get from a podcast, from YouTube, from newsletters. I mean, it's kind of staggering. And then if you tack on information products that you could probably purchase for a couple $100 or less, I mean, in many ways, the world of education is at our fingertips in a such different fashion than it would have been when I got into the industry, when I was trying to build a career. I think sometimes one of the things that people miss when they try to compare the commitment of going to an event and traveling and investing in a flight or driving, staying at a hotel, taking a couple days off work, and versus just staying at home and watching trainings or videos or listening to podcasts, is that there's such power in being in the room. There's such value in not just listening to a presentation, but having access to the presenter in the Q&A or during the social or just in the lobby and asking about how you can customize something that might have been really, really impactful during their talk, but it was presented in a general way, how you can customize that to you. I mean, having access, it's like taking a New York Times best-selling book and reading, and it may be wonderful, but wouldn't it be cooler to have access to the author too and understand the intent behind what they wrote and understand how you could customize the strategies, the tactics, the insights to fit you and your unique circumstances. And I think that sometimes that gets lost. And I also think that so many people in the business side, and the Perform Better Summits are comprised of not just business owners, but practitioners who are employees, whether it's at a gym or at a university or in a medical setting. But for the business owners, so many of us talk about wanting to work on the business and not just be immersed in the business. And stepping away is a scheduled opportunity to work on the business. It's a time that you get to detach from putting out fires and day-to-day obligations and training sessions and trying to fit your education in between your 9 o'clock appointment and your 11 o'clock appointment. And being able to step away and think clearly and being in an environment with other peers and brainstorm and think about things through maybe a different lens. I think that is so valuable. And again, it may not be the part of these type of events that gets marketed because, you know, it doesn't have the same mass appeal as going and listening to a keynote caliber speaker. But for me, that sort of thing has even more value than any specific talk because that time to be creative, to think strategically, to really do some work on the business that's often very hard to do under your own roof is the type of thing that could be worth 6 or 7 figures over time. And that's something you probably just don't get from catching a training video on YouTube. But the other side of this too, and admittedly, I'm a little bit more of a seasoned person in the industry at this point, having been attending events like this for about 20 years, working in the industry, and then attending conferences and summits and seminars for about another decade before that, whether it was just strength and conditioning stuff or baseball related things. And I think that just being in the room and networking with peers, with speakers, it's been incredible. I mean, I can attribute almost every big thing that has happened to me, either directly or indirectly, to being in the room and connecting with people. And I think about just at this last event, I got to spend time talking with Eric Cressy and Mike Boyle and Todd Durkin and Martin Rooney and Mark Liebert and obviously Chris Poirier, who runs Perform Better, and Charlie Weingroff. And there's so many people. I mean, I could just keep going and going. Rachel Cosgrove, Alan Cosgrove. And it's, man, where could I get all of those people at once? I mean, heck, if you look back at the early episodes of this podcast, I interviewed a lot of those people for the podcast, and really that was my intent. I mean, I know it's a little bit selfish, but my intent was, hey, I just want an hour's time to spend with these people that I've gotten to know and consider friends in the industry. And it's hard to do from a distance, but you can be in the room and, man, I can make more headway catching up with old friends, learning from people, getting insights that I couldn't have gotten just kind of on the record and podcasts or that sort of thing in a matter of 2 days, being in the room, in the lobby, at the social, that type of thing. And if I think about the partnerships, the collaborations, I think back to an info product Alan Cosgrove and I did all the way back we launched it in 2007. We created it in 2006. I mean, that came from a conversation in the lobby at an event, right? And it's been like that ever since. So many people that I've collaborated with that have shared insights with me that were aha moments that moved my business forward by leaps and bounds. It's been because of that. And I also think on the flip side of it, people that have now they were maybe originally clients and have gotten involved as contributors to my business, partners, that sort of stuff. It all kind of originated in that environment as well. And again, that's not the stuff that is on a registration page for a live event usually. It's not the stuff that people think about. They look at the speaker lineup and they say, well, hey, there's this person in this topic. I can get some CEUs. And all that's valuable. It's important. And in some ways, it's simply scheduling an appointment to go get better, right? Instead of saying, oh, I have access to this stuff, but it's sitting on my hard drive or it's living in the cloud, and I can come back to it whenever, but maybe I don't make time to do it. So yeah, I can schedule time to really make a leap forward and learn and improve. And I think that by itself is tremendously valuable, because what gets scheduled gets done. And so having the appointment, knowing what you're going to consume, having an idea what you want to get out of an event, is all those things are valuable. But some of this stuff that I think maybe flies under the radar for me has had just as much, and in many cases, a greater impact on my career, on my relationships, on my optimism. I mean, there's never a time that I've attended a summit and not walked away excited, motivated, optimistic for the future, knowing that, hey, I can do something pretty exciting. And there's no more just kind of spinning your wheels, no more being in neutral or feeling like things are stagnant. I mean, you always walk away really excited. So I know, again, that probably comes off as a little bit of a commercial, and it should, because I'm not an affiliate for these events, but I am, as a business coach, I think, obligated to talk to you about how to get better. And well, I know that being in our coaching programs is something that's going to make you better. I also feel like it's important to be exposed to other insights, to other ways to improve, to other voices. I think that obviously when you get outside of the business realm, there's so many smart people sharing their latest insights, and all these people that I alluded to and so many others, they're learning every year. And so just because you saw somebody 3 or 4 or 5 years ago doesn't mean they haven't added new tools to the toolbox. They're students as much as they're teachers. And I think that's one of the great things about this sort of event. So if you've not put it on the schedule, I'm recording this right after the Perform Better Orlando Summit. They have the Chicago event coming up. There's the Los Angeles event coming up. And then they cap things off with Perform Better Providence, which I'll speak at that one as well. And these events are so valuable. I was going to this one before I was actually scheduled to speak. Originally I was scheduled to speak at the Providence one, and then they had an opening and invited me to this, but I would have still been in the room because I know the impact it's going to have on my business. And frankly, if my schedule frees up for either of the other ones, I'll be in the room there as well. And I'll be better because of it. And my business will improve because of it. So hopefully this kind of little summary of the way that I think about these events maybe adds a little bit of context to why it's a priority for professionals, for entrepreneurs who want to improve, who want to keep growing, who want to be the best in their market, why it's a priority for them to attend these events and not just go to the sessions, but actually connect, go to the Q&As, hang out in the lobby, network, build relationships, work on your business. And before long, you'll reap the rewards just like I and thousands of others have over the years. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitness Business School. Before you go, I have a quick announcement. One of the things that we've been doing with our current clients is taking them through this Ideal Business Diagnostic. And really what it is this checklist that allows you to pinpoint exactly what your business needs next so you can keep improving, keep growing, and build a business that you love to own. One that pays you well, one that allows you to have the impact you want to have, and one that allows you to have a lifestyle that you truly enjoy. In this diagnostic, we walk through everything and we do an evaluation and can instantly pinpoint what you need to do next to build that business that you want. I'm going to extend this opportunity to get on with either me or my team and take you through this evaluation and fix your business's most vital needs fast. So if we take you through this, you're going to be able to make those vital changes that you need to finally have what I call your ideal business. If you'd be interested in going through this entirely free, risk-free diagnostic with us and learn what you already have in place, what you're doing well, and where your greatest opportunities for rapid improvement are, just shoot me an email with diagnostic in the subject line to pat@patrigsby.com. Again, an email to pat@patrigsby.com with diagnostic in the subject line will get you scheduled and take you through this evaluation to help you build the business you want.